when we see other countries with hyper competent, knowledgeable, intelligent leaders, like we, at least in regard to Russia, we made fun of it. Where like some American, like it was like Tucker Carlson trying to show up, talk to Putin, and like do American style interviewing, which is like, I'm a little curious about how did you manage to do XYZ? Because that's something to me that just seems totally out of line. Maybe it's because I'm American, like doing that Tucker style interview, and immediately Putin is like, you know, if we're going to speak about this honestly, you need to understand the history, and that begins in 1600. That is where this begins. And the American response to someone having a thorough, very thorough knowledge of their nation's history and the implications therein was to be like, ha ha ha, he went back in history and didn't just say a 5-word answer. And it's like, yeah, this is why our politicians are retarded. Because we have the lowest common denominator voting, universal suffrage. You got everybody voting, all the idiots. And so there's no incentive for them to speak in such a way that would be endearing to higher class, the oligarch class, the tax-paying class, the way Putin does. Like Putin kind of revealed in that interview, he had more understanding of the geopolitical situation of Russia, Ukraine, the fall of the Soviet Union, the Russian Empire pre-existing that, like, he spoke knowledgeably on that in a way that like
you're in those.
No, that's not necessarily
like
true. Ask fucking Trump or Kamala or any of these people about like detailed historical endeavors throughout American history, and they're going to give you fucking second grade level slavery bad, colonialism bad, but America good. Like they're going to give you nonsense.
Was a propaganda piece set up by Tucker, being paid by Putin to be an easy pushover. And I'm sure they knew what the questions were.
Tucker tried to get him on multiple occasions.
I don't think he did. I think
did you not hear where Putin owned him?
Were you in
which was hilarious.
Didn't CIA try to recruit you?
Didn't your father was CIA recruit? It was part of your dream.
Why were you not in CIA? You failed? Life dream kaput?
So
that was funny.
The reason I was convinced Tucker was there to do a puff piece is after he interviewed Putin, he did a tour of a Russian train station talking about how amazing it was and how much better it was than anything in America. Socialist and communist countries often take some of these public utilities and make them showpieces. So it looked like a palace, their subway station. And then Tucker went to a grocery store and talked about how amazing Russian grocery stores were. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, you're just making puff pieces about Russia at this point. There were 3.
That's fair enough. I did like the clips where he tried to seemingly get a little own on Putin, and Putin had much more knowledge about it than Tucker. And
Putin's knowledgeable.
Yeah, Putin's a very smart guy.
We haven't had
I wish we had
could talk about that in a while.
Like, think about that though. Like, why don't we have a type of leader that can be as articulate on our behalf, as thorough and knowledgeable on our behalf as Russia?
Thanks.
Because Russia is a lower tier country than us. Let's be real.
Bumbling, self-serving buffoons over crafty, calculating, sociopathic murderers every time. At least our bumbling buffoons won't ruin our country the way Putin has theirs. 0.5%, so half of 1% of their men from 20 to 60 have been killed.
Thanks for that. How little respect he has for us, Woody.
He was talking to you, I think.
0.5%.
Oh yeah, just the 3 of us here, right?
There's half of a whole percent.
I think it's important to understand that half of 1% of an entire country's worth of men have died in the last 3 years fighting a silly war that will not end the way he wants it to. That's not a genius. Like maybe we've had a few military misadventures here and there, but a sizable percentage of our male population weren't extinguished in the matter.
They're going to lose even if they win the little Ukraine battle, they're going to lose globally because we're more powerful. We can exert our power more effectively on other nations than Russia can. We're a global power. You could say global power, but really, what power are they exerting on fucking Honduras? What are they doing in the Congo? Like, what
South Americans want to band together and use a common currency to buy their oil. And then I know China bought oil from, I think, the Saudis with yuan like a year ago. It was the first time in history that it happened. So
yeah, I think
the
US
hegemony is
losing
slipping.
its position that it had. And I think it's partly because he's fighting an economic war with every country at the same time.
I don't think it's because of that. I think we're losing our position largely because we've lost our ability to independently create. Like, we don't make anything. Like, we have a couple military industrial companies that make things, but outside of that, our country is entirely dependent on foreign nations to create everything.
We make things. We make cars, we make military gear, we make basically all the tech on the planet. We don't make backpacks and flip-flops.
We don't make all the tech on the planet because that's why we're so invested in the fuck is that little bullshit? Taiwan. Yeah.
Okay,
that's why we're invested in
Taiwan.
Taiwan.
Well, we
design it, and it should be
so that we can afford it.
If we gave a fuck, we'd make it here because that would be a good way to
That's
wield
what the CHIPS
power
Act did.
over people. That would be a great way. Imagine if we used our economic prowess to bully every country into forcing that every chip has to be made here.
You must have liked Biden's policies.
What about
the CHIPS Act?
Oh yeah, I'm not against. I'm pro things I think are good for America. And so, like, if you're forcing more chips to be made here, that's great. That's good. That's the future. We don't want to be dependent on some like quasi state adjacent to China when we're trying to do these things.
Yeah, I do worry about that vulnerability. How like we don't get chips if Taiwan falls. Like that's a huge problem. But then I'm like, point to the country that doesn't have a huge vulnerability, right? You've got China, who basically doesn't have ocean access if, we stop the Taiwan area. Like they don't have unstoppable access to their oceans like America does. They have that dam where they lose some huge percentage of, not percentage, but like a huge amount of people will die if we take out a dam. Like everybody has their weak spots.
Sure. But we're the anchor point. We're the fucking country. Like, we should force them to have more weak spots. We should force these countries to have more weak spots by manufacturing their chips here. Fuck them. This should all be about America. Like, we win if we do that.
I don't know how we force them. They're NVIDIA chips being made in Taiwan. Am I wrong about that?
Just force them to move it here.
They're Koreans.
I don't give a fuck. Force them to move it here and then have
invade North Korea again. like what are we gonna? How are we gonna make them? You know what I mean? Like you can't make a Korean company.
We can mimic that infrastructure. We're America,
but we can't mimic the costs, right? Like that's the thing. And then we'll have to pay more for our
but
shit.
The strategic
I'm fine with it being a global economy.
Having that is better than having the low cost. Like if every country has to go through fucking us to get these things. We already know what the future of warfare is, and this is integral to it. Force them to go through.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, most of that drone warfare is fucking shit you can buy off the shelf, and it's all made in China. Like all those cheap drone parts.
And China is a total paper tiger in regard to the fact that like they have no economy without access to the U.S. markets. They have no meaningful economy.
That's not true. I
really.
Saw well, how much of their exports total go to the U.S.?
I think it's 40%.
I bet it's less than 30. I think that we need them more than they need us. Everyone needs everyone. It's a global
you're
economy.
Crazy. They need us more than we need them.
I'm all for like maybe nationalizing strategic resources in times of great need. I'm definitely for shoring them up and having that infrastructure there. Like I would like us to be able to build battleships at a moment's notice, but I don't think we should have every dockyard on the East and West Coast up and running 24/7 on the off chance that we need to go into World War III and be able to crank Liberty ships out one every 24 hours like we did during World War II. Yeah. I don't think we should maintain the state of everlasting readiness for World War III. Like I would like to be ready to go into a World War III mode, but goddamn, I don't want to pay American prices for my next graphics card. I don't want to pay $5,000 for a GPU. You know what I mean?
The other thing is by having a really interconnected economy, you prevent wars. Like America doesn't want to go to war with China, and China doesn't want to go to war with America, and neither of us want to go to war with Russia, and none of us want to go to war with England. And all these countries that depend on each other for success are incentivized to not create a war.
And that makes sense. But
And there's another little thing. It doesn't take sorry, I cut you off. It doesn't take a giant country to suck, right? Like what was it? 18 Saudis on a plane who took down the 2 World Trade Centers, something close to that, and the Pentagon allegedly. And so it's not like only China can cause us big problems. We need a nice interconnected world of peace. Like that would be a pretty good place.
And that's fair. But we also, and this is where I do come down on the tariff side, is like we have been taken advantage of and fucked with in a lot of ways. Like the fact that like Spain can put tariffs on us and force our manufacturing base outside of the US in order to compete, where you have to basically move your manufacturing to India or Bangladesh or Thailand or somewhere with like slaves. That's not good. Like the end goal shouldn't be reducing costs at the expense of American labor. Like if we want to be prepared in the future, we got to have a lot of manufacturing. We have to. That's literally the only way. And the idea that like all of our interconnected economies will keep us peaceful is one of those things that works until it doesn't. And once it doesn't work anymore, we don't want to be the side that isn't dependent on our enemies to create things we need.
Yeah, especially for core things. But the hope of bringing like muffler, flip-flop, and backpack manufacturing here to America, just so that we can have minimum wage employees who hate their jobs here, what is that getting us?
It'll be Mexicans in American factories anyway.
Not if you deport them. Not if you get rid of them.
Not if you. Yeah, they will. Until you start punishing the factory owners.
Punish the factory owners ruthlessly. Fuck those people.
They could
it's
fly
always
over here.
Been curious to me, like why don't we? Why don't we punish the employers?
It's like, because the wealthiest people on both sides of our faux political aisle love mass migration. They love huge swaths of cheap labor being imported, and then they make money. Like that's why some like douchebag in Ohio will be like, I'm a big business owner and the Haitians being imported are actually really good. And it's like, no, you're paying slaves. You're paying slaves and those people's lives are subsidized by the taxpayer. So of course you love this and GDP go up, but it's not good for the country. It's not good for people there who are having their lives upended. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it's actually a great move to outsource all manufacturing and become an entirely entertainment and service-based economy in a time where war does break out.
Not between major nations.
No, but dude, we've got all the fucking YouTubers. Don't you see that? We've got all the YouTubers.
I doubt that. I bet
all the greatest TikTok dancers.
We've got the best TikTok dancers. Yeah.
Those K-pop girls give you a run for their money.